journey with you. It's been an interesting one, how I found my path in hospitality marketing. I started out at Central Michigan University in 2002, sorry for that, there we go. In 2002, I was bound to determine I was going to be a teacher. I went to Central, I took intro to education classes. I was dead set I was going to be an elementary teacher. I hated every single one of the classes. So at the end of my freshman year, I had no idea what I wanted to do. I had a lot of basics done and out of the way, and I took a job up at Shepler's Mackinac Island Ferry, about 4 hours from my hometown. Had never really spent a lot of time up in Mackinac, just decided on a whim to just go up and work for the summer. Little did I know that I would fall in love with the industry. At that moment, I absolutely loved being a part of people's vacations. From the minute they pull on a dock, you greet them, you say hello, you're part of their vacation. You're starting point for them. I did everything at Shepler's, from decking the boats to working on the dock to helping luggage to giving stickers to little kids just to help their experience. And I was so influenced and inspired by the Shepler family, I continued to go back there for 4 more years. And when I came back my sophomore year to Central, I had declared a major, which at Central at the time, they didn't really have a hospitality marketing major. They wanted to do something creative, so I majored in integrated public relations, which was a hybrid of marketing, journalism, broadcasting, and communication. But it still wasn't enough for me. I needed to somehow find a way to work in tourism, and that's where I met Patty. Patty was a great help at shaping my minor. She sort of built it out for me with the recreation program at Central, and I took these classes and was introduced to all these great tourism professionals, and I remember sitting in her class meeting Diana Stampler, who works for Promote Michigan. I met her in 2004, I think, and I have lunch with her twice a year now, and it's amazing the connections that I've made and the inspiration that she's brought to me, because I remember sitting in class saying, I want her job. I want to do what she does. I need to find a way to do it. So when I was fresh out of college, I moved to Northern Michigan. I was recently engaged. My fiance, his family owns a couple of restaurants up on Burt Lake. Has anybody been to Burt Lake? No? Does anyone know where Burt Lake is? Okay, well you're missing out if you haven't been up there. Beautiful. They own restaurants up there, and so they said, come on up, let's get you up here, let's find you a job. I said, okay. So the first thing I do is I look in the paper, because that's what you did back in my day. I feel old saying that, because I know that's not how people search for jobs now. And I looked, and I couldn't find anything. So I went to Mackinac City, where I knew, and I applied to work at a retail fun shop. Thinking, okay, just for the summer, have some income. I came home that night with the realization, I have a college degree. I cannot work in a fun shop. I can't do it. So I went back to the drawing board and looked in the Petoskey paper and saw that from some hotels were hiring. And the best advice someone gave me that I took to heart, and I still do to this day, is work from the bottom up. So I started out working at Stafford's Baby, which is pictured here. I applied for a front desk position, thinking if I just get my foot in the door, maybe something will come of this one day. Excuse me. Fighting off a cold, so I apologize. So I started working there in the summer, and I worked there for about 6 months, and I absolutely loved it. It's a quaint little inn on the shores of Little Traverse Bay in Petoskey. There's 31 guest rooms. None of them are alike. They're all individually decorated. There's no TVs or phones in the rooms, which makes it really unique to the industry, because anywhere you go, you have TVs and phones in the rooms, and they do not. And surprisingly, our guests love it. Guests your age, my age, Patty's age, they all love it, because you're taken away to an era that you just don't experience anymore. From there, I realized that I was getting a little bored, and I was very open with my employer that I was going to be looking for a job in my field. And it just so happened that at the time we worked with a marketing agency, who they were looking for more of a liaison person in the company to work with them and with staffers, and they asked me if I'd be interested. So I said absolutely. I took the position. My title then was marketing assistant, and I started working with the advertising agency. I did that for about 8 months, and then I went and got married, went on my wonderful honeymoon, came back and they said, surprise, we're no longer with our agency, it's all you. And you can imagine the shock that I had thinking, all right, this is great, but I was scared because I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know how to have a starting point for 2 hotels and 2 restaurants, which is what Stafford's had at the time. But I figured it out eventually. I want to play a little video that just gives you a little snippet of what Stafford's, who we are and what we offer, before I get into a little bit more about our properties.
Getting away from it all. It might mean outdoor adventure with family. It might mean quiet one-on-one time. Or it might mean breathtaking views right outside your balcony. When it's your time to get away, there's a Stafford's destination just for you. One visit to Staffords.com is all it takes. There you'll discover landmark accommodations, activities perfect for everyone, and remarkable restaurants plating up unforgettable meals. To book your Northern Michigan getaway, visit Staffords.com.
Any of those places look familiar to anyone? Anybody been to Charlevoix? Have you dined at Stafford's Weatherby?
No.
No? Anybody been to Harbor Springs? Have you dined at Stafford's Pier?
No.
No? Anybody been to Lansing? Anybody know where Lansing is? It's a teeny tiny village.
That's tiny. That's,
It is teeny tiny. And then Petoskey, of course, is kind of our main hub. That, in a nutshell, that's our current commercial that we're running on TV right now for Stafford's, to kind of give people, this is what you can come do. We're trying to give them an opportunity to immerse themselves in an experience, to relax, to get away from it all. The fall colors right now are the big draw. You saw a couple of fall images in there, so that's what we're promoting right now. Now, my company that I work for is Stafford's. We have 7 properties. We have Stafford's Baby Win, which is where I started. That was built in 1886. It was originally a boarding house. Now it's a beautiful hotel. We host weddings there. We host dinners. We have a dining room. Very seasonal. We have a Sunday brunch, May through October. You will find the founder of our company, Stafford Smith, who founded our company in 1961, still carving on Sundays at Sunday brunch. He will serve you fresh turkey, fresh ham, and serve you up fresh waffles. And that's amazing to watch him, that he started this tradition 54 years ago and he's still moving forward with it. Our next property is in downtown Petoskey, is Stafford's Perry Hotel. It is the only hotel in Petoskey. It was originally one of 20-some resorts in downtown Petoskey. In the early 1900s, they were all built out of wood. There's a big fire, and the fire burned them all down except the Perry, because it was the only brick hotel. So it's pretty incredible to see some of that history and know why it's still there. And it still remains the only hotel. Hopefully one day there'll be more to bring more people to downtown. Moving over to Harbor Springs, across the bay, about 6 miles, is Stafford's Pier Restaurant. That came to the Stafford's family in 1971. It's waterfront dining. It's literally built on the pier. We have a historic pointer boat that takes people around the harbor for tours. It's the only way at Harbor Springs for the public to actually go out on the water, because unless you have a boat, there's no other way you can experience the harbor, so it's quite a draw. We have indoor dining and outdoor dining there as well. Over in Charlevoix, we have Stafford's Weatherby Restaurant that came into our family in 1988. That, again, is right on the channel. If you've been to Charlevoix, you know the drawbridge. We're right there on the drawbridge. Again, it's just lunch and dinner year-round, and outdoor. You've been there, so
Yeah,
you just had an aha moment.
I know, yeah.
Now that you say
Yes,
that.
just that. You sit on the channel, you watch the boats go by, the bridge up and down. People run to the window to take pictures. It's quite impressive to go to. Then in 2011, we added on a new hotel, Stafford's Crooked River Lodge and Suite, which is in Lansing. Lansing is a teeny tiny village about 10 miles north of Petoskey. I currently live there personally. It was quite a surprise when they announced. Actually, I believe it was October 20th, 2011 that we got the keys. I'm pretty sure that's the date that we got the keys to the lodge. This was a lot different because our properties were historic, they were elegant, they were landmark locations, had a lot of history. And then we have the Crooked River Lodge, which is an up north big log cabin that is on the Crooked River. It's absolutely beautiful. I can show you pictures later on our website of what the lodge is, but that was a big step for us because here we were this elegant lodging company attracting to the older generation, couples, weddings, older dining with grandparents, and then we have this brand new lodge that's family friendly with a pool, and it just created a whole new demographic for us. And then in 2014, we added another property, the Drawbridge Bistro in Charlevoix, which is directly across the street from the, have you been there? You're nodding your head.
I know what you're talking about.
Yes, it's located inside the Edgewater Inn, and we serve breakfast, lunch, and dinner there. It was, again, a step outside of our comfort zone. Most of our restaurants, we plate up whitefish, we plate up perch, your classic dishes. Here, we don't do that. We serve up s'more waffles and lavender chicken and different types of food to attract to, again, another market. So that, in a nutshell, is Stafford's. And I'm showing you this image because this is our main image that we use on a lot of our messages, on our water bottles, on our billboards, because it's really hard to take one image on a billboard and represent 7 properties, but the one thing that they all have in common is they all have a view like that. We are landmark lodging and waterfront dining. Anywhere you go, at any one of our properties, you will always see the water. So that is why I wanted to show you that particular image, because if you head up north, you'll probably see a couple of those billboards along the way. Anybody have any questions so far? No? Okay. Part of my job as marketing director, I do a lot. We are a 1.5-person team. I have a marketing assistant who works with me, and we are busy all the time. We do everything. We do communication, advertising and design, social media, writing, strategy, and we build relationships. Those are probably the top 6 things when I was thinking about what am I going to tell these people that I do. These were the top 6 that came to mind because these are the top 6 important things for my job. The communication goes in many different ways. The first and foremost is our guests. We're communicating with our guests on a daily basis, whether they know it or not. We're communicating them with our literature, we're communicating with them on our website, our social media, we're communicating them when they check in, when they dine with us. And then again, our team. Our team is also a big part of our communication. We want them to know what's going on. We want them to know about the company so they can tell our guests. Our team members are our biggest marketers because they're the people that are touching the tables. They're the people that are checking the guests in. They're the people that I was 6, 7, 8 years ago at the front desk. They're the first person I see, or they're the first person I talk to on the phone. So giving them the tools to be able to know all about our company and to know, to give them a little insight about what's going on in the company and in the area is really important because they're able to communicate that to our guests. And then the final piece to the communication is the media. That's a big part of my job when I get editorial requests, press requests. That's what I do. I just want the information straightforward. As far as marketing and design, I think this is pretty self-explanatory, but my job's a little unique because we do represent so many different things. I handle all the advertising that we do for our company, print and digital, which digital is a brand new thing for us because when I started, we were traditional advertising. We were in the Grand Rapids Press 5 times a week. We were in all the local papers. We were in Michigan Blue Magazine every month. Now that has all shifted to digital, which has been an interesting learning curve for me because it wasn't what I learned. Flyers, we have a lot of in-house promotions that we do. We have anything from wine dinners to winter features, just creating those in-house promotional pieces to put we call them Johnny ads. We have them in the bathrooms, little flyers for guests to know when they're going to the bathroom, they know that they can go to the beer dinner that's coming up in 2 weeks. Our restaurant menus, I did bring a couple of examples for you guys to see. I do all the design for those as well. We have 28 total within our company. We actually call it menu season at Stafford's. That's in May. And I work with the chefs and the managers to put together the restaurant menus, because when you work in the restaurant industry, what's your biggest marketing tool? You. And so that's really important. We spend a lot of time researching that. We spend a lot of time dining out, seeing what other people are doing, because that's the biggest tool that you have to your guests. In-room materials for our hotel rooms, we have in-room directories that we have. We also have, unique to our properties is we have bed cards. And we call these bed cards because we have what is called a Stafford's pineapple bed. We teamed up with a local bed company in northern Michigan called Beds by Design, and they built a custom bed for us. These mattresses are incredible. We had people calling, wanting to purchase the mattress, and so they named it the Stafford's pineapple bed, and we do sell it to them. If they want it, they can buy it. So we have that information on the bed for the guests to know, so they can make that call themselves. Brochure collateral, we have a lot of brochures, as I'm sure you can imagine. I did bring some samples for you guys to see, and then billboards as well. Social media is a huge part of our plan. We are on Facebook. We have 9 pages on Facebook. We have Twitter, YouTube, Pinterest, Instagram, blogs. We have 2 blogs, a wedding blog and a general blog, TripAdvisor, Yelp, and Google reviews. And I will touch a little bit more on TripAdvisor and Yelp. I put that under social media because it is a huge part of our social media. We rely heavily on reviews. And when you travel, when I travel, I check review sites, and I'm sure you do too. I have a love-hate relationship with these. TripAdvisor, I feel, is a little bit more forgiving. If there's a false review out there, they will take it down. You can dispute it really easily. Yelp, not so much. Yelp is my enemy. Anytime that phone rings and I see it's Yelp, I just get all fired up. Because Yelp bases this all on they like to post the bad ones before they post the good ones. I don't know if you've ever gone there and looked. You'll always see like 28 hidden reviews. If you open those 28 hidden reviews, they're all good. But the first thing you see when you come to Yelp is all your bad reviews. And they say they base that all on a lithogram and all that kind of stuff, and I don't buy into it. They hide the good reviews because they think they're bogus reviews by staff. So that's my bit on Yelp, and that's why I don't really like Yelp, but it's still important because people are using it. And then Google reviews as well. The strategy is a huge part of any place you work, any marketing plan that you do. We set a marketing plan at the beginning of the year, which our year begins October 1st. And we have an overall marketing strategy for hotels, restaurants, menus, our advertising message that we're going to get out to our guests, and then sales and weddings, which is a huge part of our business. We host about 70 weddings at Stafford's a year. And writing. Writing is another big component. Web copy, ad copy, blogging, menu descriptors, room guides, social media news releases, which is kind of what I've already talked about a little bit. That's all, on a daily basis, we're writing all the time. And now I'm going to get into my favorite part, is the challenges. Mistakes that are proof that you are trying. This was really hard for me at the beginning of my career because I was perfect. I knew everything. I wasn't going to make a mistake until I did an ad that represented all 3 hotels that was printed in 150,000 copies of a catalog distributed across the state. We proofread the ad looked great, everything was right, so we thought. I get the publication on my desk, and the phone number's wrong. So I panic. I had transversed 2 numbers by accident. So the first thing I do is I call the phone number. When I call it, it goes to an adult hotline. So immediately I panic. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going to get fired. What's wrong? This is bad, this is bad, this is bad. And so I was very honest and open with my employer about what had happened. Thankfully, it never bit us. People had heavily relied on going to the website. But you can bet that that never happened